personal statement that you wrote for admissions. Please take a look.
How do you all get it?
Oh my. Okay.
Please take a look.
Sure. Oh my goodness. How do y'all get this?
Okay.
So how do you feel reading through? Have your reasons for joining medicine changed?
Wow, this is very nostalgic. I think it's a bit cringe now. Honestly, to realize how naive you sounded back then. I guess the difference lies in knowing the limitations of healthcare and also knowing that sometimes our best intentions may not translate into what we envision it to be. But despite knowing that, I think I've also found many reasons to not grow jaded and to keep that sense of idealism to also do the best for our patients and make a difference in their lives. I think at the heart of it, medicine is about people, and as much as we learn about new diseases, new treatment plans, all the more we need to know how to be human towards our patients and to also provide comfort at the least when everything else fails.
Actually, it feels really surreal to look at this again. I haven't seen this in 2 years, and wow, I think like a lot has changed. Just reading this, it feels like I was quite naive, and I think in my personal statement, I used to focus a lot on like patient interaction and being in a collaborative working environment and helping patients. But I think like through medical school, like I've learned that actually it's not always that we can always heal them or cure them completely, but sometimes it's just journeying with them through the process. And I think that's something that I've grown to really appreciate in these 2 years of medical school.
Wow, this is very nostalgic. I think, honestly, the reasons haven't changed much. At that point in time when I wrote my statement, I kind of wrote it based on different things that I heard doctors say to me when I told them that I wanted to apply to medicine. And that ranged from follow your dreams all the way to do you know how hard it is? And even we don't always save lives. Are you sure you want to do this? But at the same time, in this statement, I did say that even if there were things that I couldn't do practically to help a patient, that I could at least be there. And I think that is still something that I treasure a lot today. Being with someone in a difficult time. I think medicine puts you in that environment as part of your job, and I really value that. So yeah, no, my reasons for joining haven't changed, because I think that same reason is what keeps me very motivated to come to school and go to the hospital every day. Yeah.
Describe the community in NUS Med, profs, teaching staff, peers and seniors. Well, I think the professors are very approachable. I remember Dr. Derek Soon would have his quiz ups and his Poll Everywhere, which is like a small quiz game, and he would send he would collect the names of those who win the quiz, and he would send either bubble tea or give them a gift. And there was one time that he offered to bring them to a volunteering opportunity together that he personally volunteers at. I think it was Health Serve. And I thought that was a very innovative way of teaching, and it really kept me engaged with his lectures. One last thing that really impacted me was Professor Feng Boon and Professor Raj, GIFs and animations. I remember in M1, they would create their own animations of embryology, of how the body develops, and they would use small plasticine balls to simulate each body part. And I could just see the amount of effort that goes into making these animations, and it really helped. I can say for the same for all my peers, that it really helped all of us to visualize the process, and I'm really grateful that they would take the time out of their schedules to make all these animations and teaching tools. And beyond the teaching staff, I really appreciate the community here in NUS Medicine. It's not just the professors and the teaching staff. It goes down to the custodians, the auntie who would, on level 2 tutorial rooms, that will always clean up after us, and she will always greet us and ask us how our studies are. And I think it's a very caring thing to do, and it always encourages me that the community is not just the professors and the teaching staff, that it goes to the people who are working here, the security guards, the librarians who take care of our items when they are when we leave them in the library, or helping us with our research opportunities. And it's just these faces that we see every day that makes NUS Medicine feel like such a family community, and makes me feel so familiar here and feel that I belong in this community.
Even the students, peers and seniors are very kind. And I think there's something very special about medical school in that we all have to learn pretty much the same thing. It's not like other faculties where you choose to take this module but you skip that module. Like you can't take a hand module and skip a liver module in med school, because then you won't know anything about the liver, which is not good for the patient. So because we all learn the same thing, then there's really a sense of camaraderie. And because we're all still learning, there's strength in our confusion, our sense of helplessness in the wards. And I think, I've really bonded a lot with my peers over the fact that we go through the same thing. So the community it's a good community. I like it.
I think for profs and teaching staff, they're honestly one of the most insanely dedicated people I've ever met. I've met profs that wouldn't hesitate to give you tutorials any time of the day, 10-hour tutorials, or even late into the night, and often at their own expense. Because sometimes these tutorials are actually their breaks in between their clinics or operations, and sometimes it also eats into their family time as well. But I think what is amazing about the people at NUS Medicine is that everyone is talented in their own ways, and I always am very amazed by the different strengths of the peers around me, and also appreciate the constructive feedback that they give to help each other get better. So this culture of sharing and teaching one another is something that I really appreciate in NUS Medicine.
What do you wish you knew in year 1 that you know now? Okay, I think the first thing isn't really specific to medicine, but it's still something I wish I knew or was more confident about. And that would be that, that things would turn out okay. People are here to support you and make sure that you do fine. Like the process of year 1 or year 2, or just being in your late teens, early 20s, I think it's difficult. But there are many avenues of support available, and I think, and I know that for certain now, because these avenues were available to me when I needed them, whether within the school or outside, family, friends, everything. So I wish that would be something that I would want to remind myself back when I felt like I needed a little bit of support to get through everything. But I think more specific to medicine, what I wish I knew in year 1 is that doing things outside of medicine isn't a bad thing. In fact, it's quite a good thing too. I was very paranoid, especially in year 1, about spending too much time, doing community service or studying my non-medical classes. I was very worried that I was spending too much time on everything except reading my anatomy textbook and my physiology textbook. But really, I think these extra medical pursuits really build you up as a person. And at the end of the day, a doctor is foremost a person, and you need to be able to relate to the patients that you see. And I think all these things that I was doing outside of medical classes weren't a bad idea, even though sometimes I thought that they were a bad idea. So I wish I knew that they weren't going to be harmful, and in fact they'll be pretty good in the end.
I think I wish I knew that it is possible to have a life outside of medicine, and medicine is not just about studying. I think what I really appreciated about my time over the years, it's not so much about the exams that we studied for or how hard we marked for a certain test, but really the memories that we made through different activities we participated in, like inter-faculty games or participating in NUS CCAs as well, or volunteering and just spending time with friends in different ways. Because ultimately we are uni students and we are in the prime of our youth as well. So there's always going to be another exam to study for, but you only get to be a student once. And I think it's important that we make the best out of our opportunities that are available now and not have regrets later in future.
Lastly, what do you like about NUS Med? How do I summarize this, man? I think NUS Med is... It can be boiled down to the community, the experiences and the opportunities. I honestly think that the community of peers, seniors and profs are something that you can't really find it anywhere else. There's a sort of glue that holds us together when our seniors are studying for their finals or their MBBS, and then the juniors will be preparing gifts or encouraging messages for them. There's this camaraderie that we feel as a whole medical school that pushes us to be better, and I think that's something that I'm really glad to be a part of.
I think my favorite part about NUS Med is the culture of support that goes beyond medical school. Like in Frisbee, I think inter-faculty games Frisbee, a lot of seniors who have graduated still come back to play with us and to train us, even though they won't be playing anymore. And I think it's always inspiring to hear their stories when they're working, but they still try to make the time to meet up with juniors and also to play Frisbee beyond their work. So it gives you some hope and some comfort in knowing that you can still have a life outside of work.
The sheer amount of doors that it opens, I think, stepping into NUS Med is like stepping into a room full of doors, and you see so many doors and you have so many choices. I think it's a place with a legacy, with a lot of history, and you can feel it, whether in the environment or in the people. You can really feel that pride in everyone when we say that, this is what we've been doing and this is what we've done. Yeah, so that's what I like about NUS Med.